those types of investments in workforce development beyond, a Bachelor of Arts degree. Yes, sir.
I've written an open letter to Governor Cuomo, and I mailed it to him. I know he got it, but I just wanted to make sure that it doesn't fall upon deaf ears, so I'd like to read it. It's brief. Governor Cuomo.
Doesn't look brief.
It's pretty brief. It's quicker than what he said.
Boom.
Lately, I've seen in the news fragments of your plans for Niagara Falls, which you just outlined. And as a lifelong resident of Niagara Falls, I feel it's my duty to be here today and address the concerns of myself and fellow Niagarians regarding said plans. The quality of life in Niagara Falls can be subpar. Jobs with livable wages are few and far between, and many of us struggle and work multiple jobs just to get by. Meanwhile, the state park flourishes during the tourist season with millions of visitors spending countless dollars. None of this income is seen around our crumbling city. Many wealthy business owners who do not live in Niagara Falls have been working to rebuild the areas surrounding the park, hoping to cash in on some of the tourist dollars. And Mayor Dyster has done the bidding of Cuomo and fallen in line, which has created a disconnect between himself and some of the people. The state park is like a mother sow, and she has two piglets, one being New York State, the other the city of Niagara Falls. New York State is like the large, greedy piglet that takes all the milk for itself, pushing away its starving, weakened sibling. I've read your plans to build a lodge on Goat Island and your plans to have New York State purchase prime real estate surrounding Goat Island, including the once great turtle. Perhaps New York State should purchase some of the property downtown and mid-city where help is actually needed, where people and property are largely ignored. Where as a result of neglect, heroin has run rampant and many of our citizens have died from overdoses. Instead, you wish to have New York State own and control more prime real estate for profit, not for the good of the city or its citizens, but for the greed of the state. I cannot stand by any longer and allow this to continue. On September 1st, 2015, my brother Matthew took his own life. Like me, Matthew grew up in Niagara Falls, and that night was the worst night of my life. I was so hurt and confused that I turned to the only place that could give me solace, the falls. And when I arrived at Terrapin Point that night, I found it blocked off by gates. Why? Because it was the tail end of the tourist season. I was denied entry to the one place that could have given me comfort, and it became immediately apparent to me that you don't care about the locals. You care about profit. Looking back, I should have hopped the fences because I had a right to be there. I belong to the river. Niagara water has run through my veins and has since I was in the womb. I was raised by my grandfather, and as a child, he'd take myself and my brothers to Three Sisters Island. He would hide pennies in the large rocks, and we'd spend hours looking for them. My grandfather passed away October 5th, 2011. The following summer, I took comfort in going to the third of Three Sisters Island to look for some of those pennies in those rocks that we might have missed as children. In 2013, I wanted to show my fiancée those rocks. They were gone. What right have you to remove these large thundering rocks which stood in that spot for thousands of years? The stones are sacred. Where are they now? Did you ask for permission from the keepers of Niagara? No. You had those stones removed to open up a better view of the waterfall after having a railing installed which blocks off a majority of the third island and the spot that I've been visiting since I was a child. That day, with my fiancée, a tour guide saw us beyond the railing and threatened to have us arrested. I was merely visiting the spot that my grandfather showed me, the spot where, for years, we would sit by the river and have meaningful conversations. You in New York State have robbed us of our heritage, of our birthright, and you will not continue to do this any longer. I'm not asking to change the plans. I'm ordering you, because I pay my taxes, so make no mistake, you work for me. Niagara Falls is my home. If you continue with your plans, I will rally the sons and daughters of Niagara who also feel this disdain, and you will be met with great opposition. If you do not comply and begin to listen to the people, you will see these words turned into actions.
You said an awful lot. First of all, my condolences on your brother's passing. And to that end, you said a lot, and I'll try to respond to.
There's no need of.
Well, I want to say this, that in terms of battling the heroin and opioid epidemic, I can say that in the past 18 months, 2 years, this state has dedicated more resources and more aggressive programs than any other state in the union. And I challenge you, you've done your homework, you do good research, but I challenge you to show me another state that's done more. We've added beds here in Niagara County. We've added beds throughout western New York. We've created a hotline. We're doing more than any other state. Is it enough? No. It's a crisis. It's an epidemic. You felt it directly. Many people in this room.
I just want to state my brother did not die of heroin. It's just that is an epidemic in the city, and a lot of people are concerned about it.
All right. I misunderstood. understood.
It's okay.
Either way, we've all felt that problem in this room, including myself, with family members. You know, with regard to your comments about Niagara Falls and the state park, again, this governor's not perfect. But I will say, and the research and the data will bear this out, he has done more in terms of investing in this park than any...
In the park, but the city itself.
Let me finish, because you raised the question about the park.
Sure.
So you were denied access to Terrapin Point. Why? Because millions of dollars were being invested to stabilize and improve that. There was an article in the New York Times, how many years ago, Mayor? 3, 4 years ago, that trashed Niagara Falls, and particularly the state park. The governor read that, and he said, not on my watch. So tens of millions of dollars, I think it's in excess of 75, 80 million dollars, have come directly from the state coffers to improve the product. Now, you say, that's not in the city. Well, you know what? If you don't have a high-quality product in terms of the key magnet that brings people to this city, then you're not going to see any spin-off development because people aren't going to come. They'll say it's not
People
working.
will come to see the waterfall. People save up their entire lives to see the waterfall, but we see millions of tourists a year at the park, and we still see a large sections of the city crumbling. So that income from the tourism is not going into the city. What about these stones? Where did these stones go?
I can't speak to the stones. And
They were there for thousands of years. They had no right to move these stones.
well, it was done as part of the park improvement, I'm sure.
It's not an improvement. It's not an improvement. You open up view to the waterfall by moving the stones because you've set up a viewing point on the third island of Three Sisters with a railing, but there was nothing wrong there.
Yeah. I might not be able to answer each one of your questions
It's okay.
in a way that's satisfactory to you, but leave me the letter if you don't mind.
Yep, sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Shirley Hamilton, President of